everybody? It is Monday, July 17th, 2023, and it is the latest edition of Sports Talk Live with your host, myself, Nick Burt. We are still inching closer to more sports being back. We do have a few things to recap from this weekend, and then we have a lengthy segment, I'm hoping, of the Women's World Cup. Starts Thursday morning, technically. I believe it's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning here in the Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing a full preview of that. My predictions will break down each group. So look forward to that near the end of whenever I'm done talking about this stuff. So first, I think we should start on the court, the tennis court. 2 great matches this weekend in the Wimbledon Finals. And I couldn't not talk about these. So we'll first talk about the one that was on Saturday. Martinka Vondaruska, believe I finally pronounced that correct, wins Wimbledon, the first unseeded player ever to win. She defeats Ons Jabeur 6-4, 6-4, straight sets. Kind of a shocking upset given that Jabeur was not a massive favorite by the books, but she was quite heavily a favorite, I will say. Nobody was really giving Vondaruska a challenge. I mean, everybody kind of figured this was Jabeur's crowning moment, basically. And yet it almost looked like she crumbled under the pressure. But I mean, she still put up a great fight, and Vondaruska just had that little bit more. It was still an outstanding match. I expected to go the full 3 sets, and then Vondaruska just kind of took over, basically. I mean, it's just crazy to think about, on, I believe it would have been Tuesday, so almost a week ago today. She was facing off against Jessica Pegula in the quarterfinals. She was down, I believe, she was down 4-1 in the finals, 4-1 in the final set, I believe, the final set. And it was 30-40, I believe, to Pegula. So Pegula was a shot away from winning. If my memory reminds me correctly, it might have been, I think it was still 4-1. Pegula was up 40-30 in that set, or in that game, I should say. And it basically looked like it was all over for Vondaruska right there. She storms back in that game, wins that one, goes on to win the semis, goes on to win the final. Just a great match. And a great run for her. Like I said, the first unseeded woman to ever win at Wimbledon, which is shocking given that there has been countless amount of talent to come through the women's ranks to win Wimbledon, but becoming the first unseeded player in women's history to win Wimbledon is a huge deal. Now let's get to Sunday. A match of the year. I won't go as far match of the decade. We're only 4 years technically into the decade. Close, though. It could be a match of the decade. That's how good it was. Carlos Alcaraz defeats Novak Djokovic 1-6, 7-6, 6-1, 3-6, 6-4. An outstanding 5-set match. I cannot put into words how great that match was. It was chef's kiss right there. It was just beautiful tennis. It was 2 great players going at each other blow for blow. And it was just poetic to watch. I mean, it was an almost 5-hour match, but it seemed to fly by. Just an outstanding match. Djokovic made some mistakes that most likely cost him that title. But, I mean, he went down 2-1. And then he took a bathroom break going into the 4th set. It kind of looked like he was fading away, age starting to get to him, fading away against the young gun, the 20-year-old. Then he comes back and wins set 4, 6-3. And we go on to a 5th set. And it just had all the makings of a great, great, great final. I thought the fifth set was going to go to a tiebreak because that's just how evenly they were playing. And then Djokovic kind of made a few mistakes, and Alvarez capitalized on that, and he just ran away with it. So he becomes the second youngest player ever to win the men's final. And, you know, this is second major. He won the US Open last year. I mean, this is a huge moment for him. You know, I would argue that Wimbledon is the biggest tournament in tennis. You know, it's kind of like the Masters with golf. And he just goes out and wins it. That's just huge against Djokovic, a player that hasn't lost at Wimbledon since 2017, I believe the number was. And then hasn't lost on center court since the 2013 final when he lost to Andy Murray. So that was a 10-year streak he didn't lose on center court. But like I said, an absolutely outstanding match. I was glad that I got to watch it on TV. Like, it would have been awesome to be there, but obviously travel things and tickets probably are quite expensive for a match like that. But just watching it on TV, you could feel the energy coming from center court into your living rooms or houses or bars or wherever you were watching it. The fans of tennis really brought it yesterday. You know, of course, they were showing a lot of celebrities in the crowd, but it's those common folk that just, they brought the energy. You could really feel it. And that just made the match more special, in my opinion. Like I said, match of the year, most likely. It will get mentioned for match of the decade, but I don't know if it wins because we still got a lot of years left in this decade and a lot more matches could happen. But just an absolutely outstanding final at Wimbledon to cap off a great tournament. If we're honest, it was a great tournament. I quite enjoyed it. I thought we had a nice mix of upsets and, you know, favorites moving on, because it can get too upset heavy and then it just kind of sucks. But then it could get too top heavy, I'd say. And you probably get better matches there, but you don't have that intrigue factor of like an upset minded person there. I think we got a good mix of that. And I really enjoyed this tournament because of that. Excuse me. I really enjoyed it because of that. And I think that made the tournament even better. And, you know, they dealt with a lot this tournament. The weather did not cooperate really at all. We got it through in the 14 days, which is still a shock to me, but they did get it done. And now we have to wait until late August for the US Open. Obviously, there's still going to be tennis going on other places, but we got to wait now until the next major, the final major of the year in Flushing Meadows, I believe is the official name, New York. And that will be the final major of the year. Hopefully we get another Djokovic Alcaraz final, maybe. Let's hope so. Moving on to the pitch, we had the Gold Cup final last night. Mexico versus Panama. Mexico wins 1-0 on a, I believe it was 87th or 88th minute goal. It was one of the two. But it was quite late, and I felt really bad for Panama. They played a perfect game defensively to hold off those goals. It was kind of almost an exact replica of what they did against the US, just kind of more successfully, I'd say. If that's possible, I don't know, but they played really well, and they just didn't have those goal scoring opportunities from themselves. And then it kind of just, it was on a very fluky play too, the goal. I mean, it was a Panamanian shot that was blocked in the Mexico box that was shot or passed up to midfield, where the Panamanian defenders basically didn't know what to do. In Mexico, it was one-on-one with the goalkeeper for Mexico, and the goalkeeper couldn't do anything about it. So Mexico go on and win the Gold Cup, their first Gold Cup win since 2019, their first CONCACAF trophy since 2019. It was a good performance from Mexico, I should say. I think the real question now is, does Lozano stay on as permanent manager? I think there's still a debate to be had with that. Obviously, he has won a Gold Cup now. I mean, it could be argued that it was a little bit weaker Gold Cup, given that they didn't face the U.S., but you got to play who's in front of you. I mean, that's the biggest argument. You got to play who's in front of you, and that's what they did, and they won the tournament. So given that, I think he should stay on. I think he's going to be a good manager for them, but it's also the Mexican Federation. I wouldn't be surprised by anything they do, because that's just the kind of people they seem like, basically. So given that, I think we've covered most of the things that happened this weekend. We saw Stephen Curry win the American Century Championship, which was a bunch of celebrities playing golf, basically. He had a hole-in-one, I believe that was on Saturday, which was just an amazing shot to see. It wasn't like it rolled around and then just barely got in the cup. It was one bounce and in the cup. That was just an absolutely amazing shot from him. And then that was about it. You know, there's some baseball going on, but other than that, I think it's officially time to get into these World Cup predictions for the women's tournament that starts on Thursday. So here we go. Women's World Cup predictions. We're going to do it all right here. This is from, I believe it's the Telegraph, if I'm correct. Yep, the Telegraph, their World Cup predictor. So we're going to do all the group stages, get through all the knockout rounds, and we're going to end up with one champion. So let's start in Group 1. You have New Zealand, Norway, the Philippines, and Switzerland. I think, you know, you got one of the hosts in here. You got New Zealand. I think Norway's a stronger team, though. I think they'll finish first. And then I think it's going to be a fight for second between New Zealand and Switzerland. I'm going to give the advantage to the one of the hosts, I should say, on New Zealand. I'll have them finishing second. I'll have Switzerland finishing third and the Philippines finishing fourth. Not really expecting a ton out of the Philippines, so therefore I have them finishing last. But I think New Zealand and Switzerland can easily be switched among each other. So in Group B, we have Australia, which is the other host of this tournament, the Republic of Ireland, Nigeria, and Canada. I think this is a very entertaining group. I think there's 4 really good teams there. I think Nigeria is probably number 4 out of them, but to pick a winner out of this, I'm going to go with Canada. I feel like they can get it done at this stage. It's going to be a tough challenge for them. I don't know if I think they'll make it out of the group stage. I don't know if it will be finishing first or second in this group, though. And second, I got to give it to the Republic of Ireland. I've seen a lot of good clips come out of this team. They look like they're really well put together team, have a chance to do something decent at this tournament. And I think they get out above these other 2 teams. I think the host, Australia, finished third, and that puts Nigeria at fourth, even though I think Nigeria is a good team. I can see any of these teams winning this group. I can see any of them finishing bottom of this group. I think that's how even the group is. So Group C, we have Spain, Costa Rica, Zambia, and Japan. Out of this, I think I'm going to take Japan to win this. I mean, Spain can be a very good team if they're on their game that day. And I feel like they might slip up. And you also have Japan, who somewhat, it's not obviously a home field advantage given that it's Australia and New Zealand hosting, but they're also playing like in a similar time zone. All these other teams are traveling over. They got to deal with jet lag and all that. Obviously, they've come in before, but still, I feel like Japan are more prepped for that than the other teams. So I'll have Japan finishing first in this group. I'll take Spain to finish second. Like I said, I think those 2 are close to locks for making it out of this group. I don't see Costa Rica or Zambia getting out. I'll have Costa Rica finishing third and Zambia finishing fourth. Another very interesting group. I think 3 of these 4 teams are quite good. and it's England, Haiti, Denmark, and China in Group D. To start out, I think I'm going to take England to win this group. They're really well put together team. They obviously won the Women's Euro last year. Not everybody's back from that team due to retirements and injuries. Obviously, the biggest injury is their captain, Leah Williamson. But I feel like England still have enough to get over that line in this group. I think they finish first. And then I think it's a two-way race between Denmark and China to finish second and get out of the group stage here. I'm going to take Denmark here, though. I just think they're going to be the better team here. And I think China will finish third and Haiti will finish fourth. Group E, we have the USA, Vietnam, Netherlands, and Portugal. Now, I think it's pretty simple to say the two teams going out will be the two finalists from the last Women's World Cup, the USA and the Netherlands. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do here. But I think I'm going to flip them. I think the Netherlands win this group. I'm not sure about this US team. They've looked okay, I'd say, coming up to this World Cup. They haven't looked great. They haven't looked terrible. But then that's the exact setup that you would expect. They're going to look iffy. Everybody's going to question them, and then they'll just come out and rout the competition in the World Cup. So, I mean, this Netherlands team, obviously, they lost Serena Wegman, who was their manager for that 2019 World Cup, to England. So, it could get interesting here. I still think the Netherlands win this group. I'll have the U.S. finishing second. I think they get out. I have Portugal finishing third and Vietnam finishing fourth. I don't see much coming from either of those teams in this group, given their other two competitions in there. Group F, we have France, Jamaica, Brazil, and Panama. This is the last World Cup for Marta at Brazil. Her last opportunity to win a World Cup, put that on her resume. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, to get out of the group. I think France win this. They had a lot of problems within the group. I mean, just like 3 or 4 months ago, ended up with their manager being fired. They hire Hervé Renard, who was the men's manager for Saudi Arabia at the World Cup just 6 months ago. So it's going to be interesting to see how his gameplay translates to the women's game. I think it's only going to be a help for France here. I think that's going to be what gets them over that hump to win this group. I do think Brazil finished second. And the battle of CONCACAF teams in this group to decide who finishes third. Obviously, it doesn't totally matter given that both teams would not be advancing here. I'm going to give it to Jamaica, though. I think they're the better put together team here. I think they'll do much better here than Panama. Group G, we have Sweden, South Africa, Italy, and Argentina. I like two of the teams in this group, and it's both the UEFA teams. I like Sweden and Italy. I'm going to take Sweden to win the group, though. I'll have Italy finishing second, Argentina third, and South Africa fourth. I think both of the UEFA teams in this group have an opportunity to go far in this tournament. I'm probably semifinals. I think they're both that good, but I think there's just better competition out there given, we're going to get there, but I think there's just better competition out there. So Group H, the final group in this World Cup, Germany, Morocco, Colombia, and South Korea. The Women's Euro finalist against England last year was Germany. I'm going to take them to win this group. And then off the back of what their men's team did in the 2022 World Cup, I'm going to take Morocco to get out of this group. You kind of got a feeling about it, I guess. And I think they can get out of this group. They probably will finish bottom of the group now that I predicted that. But I have a feeling that they can get out of this group. I'm going to put Colombia at third and South Korea at four. So that is your group stage right there. So group winners, I have Norway, Canada, Japan, England, Netherlands, France, Sweden, and Germany. The other teams advancing would be New Zealand, the Republic of Ireland, Spain, Denmark, the USA, Brazil, Italy, and Morocco. So that leads to the round of 16, which have some quite good matchups here. I'm just looking at this. Could be some very entertaining games here. First one would be Norway versus Spain. This is a tough one to predict, if I'm honest here. I'm gonna take Norway to get out of this because, like I said, with Spain, I think they're good enough to get out of this group. They have a good enough team to make it to at least the semifinals, maybe even the final. But they're just so on and off that it might be more difficult for them to get there. So I have a feeling about Norway here, and I'm gonna pick them to win this game. The next game would be the host New Zealand facing off against Japan. I'm going to take Japan here. I just think Japan is the better team. No, like, disrespect to New Zealand. I think they kind of lucked getting out of that group just because they're on home soil, and that helped them a lot there. So but I think Japan's just a much better team here, and I'm picking them to go through. The Netherlands versus Italy. Now, I just said I think Italy has a good enough team to make it to at least the semifinals. I don't think they get past the Netherlands, though. Actually, you know what? I will take Italy here. I do believe in them. I think that they can get past the Netherlands here. I know I picked the Netherlands to beat, the back-to-back world champions in a group, and now I'm having them lose to Italy. But I don't know. This Italy team, I feel like there's something different with them. I think they can make a semifinal, but I don't know about this Netherlands team. Are they going to be too high and mighty after winning the group against the US? It's possible. Next match would be Sweden in the United States. For this, I'm going to take the United States. I feel like by this point, they'll just start to be turning it on. They get like an easy, 2-0 or 3-1 win here. Next match would be Canada and Denmark. Both teams are quite good. I'm gonna take Canada to get through here, though. Obviously they won the gold medal at the Olympics. That was 2 years ago now, I believe. It's hard to compare CONCACAF teams when they're going up against the US, obviously, because the US is just a completely different level than everybody else in CONCACAF. So I think Canada is the second best team there in CONCACAF, and they get it done here and defeat Denmark. This match is very interesting, both game-wise and geopolitically. You have England versus the Republic of Ireland. Obviously, that would create a lot of problems on the British Isles in that area, but I'm taking England to win this. I just think they're the better team here. I know I very highly rate the Republic of Ireland here. England's just the better team. That's just how it goes. France, Morocco, I'm going to take France here. And then Germany, Brazil, a rematch of the 2014 men's semifinal. Obviously, that has nothing to do with anything here, but that 7-1 game, whenever you see those two countries together, that's the first thing you think of. I'm going to take Germany here. It's the end for Marta, and I think she goes out in the round of 16. So given that, the teams advancing from the round of 16 in my bracket are Norway, Japan, Italy, the United States, Canada, England, France, and Germany. So let's move on to the quarterfinals. We have Norway versus Italy as the first game. I keep hyping up Italy, and I'm buying into my own hype, but I'm going to pick Norway to get through here. I kind of feel like they're the better team. If Italy got a better draw, they could probably win it, but just don't see it happening. A rematch of the 2011 World Cup final and the 2015 World Cup final. Japan versus the United States could be a very interesting match. And you know what? I think Japan win this. I think this is where the US fall. The back-to-back dynasty ends. I think Japan gets through here, and I think they win this game. I just, it's kind of like with the Morocco thinking that they can get through the group. I just got a feeling about Japan right now, and I think that they can get through this. Next match would be Canada and France. I'm going to take France here. I really think that Hervé Renard, mojo, I guess I would say, around this team, I feel like that's just going to push France forward and get them farther in this tournament. So, but then you also risk the part where he's only been the manager for, I think it's 3 months. So the whole team's not like tactically like within his tactics right now. So this is a double-edged sword I'm playing here. So, and then in the final match of the quarterfinals, you have a rematch of the 2022 Women's Euro Final. It's England and Germany, and I'm going to take the winners of that Euro Final, and it's going to be England winning here. I think they get it past Germany once again, and that leaves us with the semifinals of Norway, Japan, France, and England. This is quite an interesting 4 teams left here. 3 of them from UEFA, 1 of them from the AFC. Japan is the only team remaining here that would be in a similar time zone. But by this point, you're already late in the tournament. Everybody's adapted to those time zones now, and everybody's hopefully playing at their highest. In Norway, Japan, it's a tough one. But once again, I'm picking Japan. I think they can get to the final this year. I just have a feeling about them. I really can't explain it other than I got a feeling about it. And then in the other match, we have France and England, 2 other eternal rivals. And, looking at this, England have gone through the Republic of Ireland, Germany, and France in their knockout stages. Basically 3 of the biggest geopolitical rivals / friends / enemies, all of that. And in sport, 3 of their biggest rivals. I'm going to take England to get through here. I think this team is built to get to the final. The question is, can Serena Wegman's women get over that hump and win this final against Japan? This will be, believe in Sydney for this game. The Women's World Cup final, Japan, England. And I think England are going to bring it home. I believe football will be coming home. Once again, didn't come home for Christmas. Didn't come home in 96. Didn't come home in 98. Came home in 2022, though. Women's side for the women's game. And I think it's coming home again. Obviously, this team has dealt with a lot of injuries in the season. They've lost a lot of key talent. I think they've replaced them, though. And I think this team has enough to get to the final at least, and let alone win it. I think with this, they also got a somewhat easy draw against Japan. Now, I'm not saying Japan's an easy team. I just think Japan versus England is a better matchup for England than, say, England against maybe the United States or somebody like that. Even though England did beat the United States, believe it was in October. That game was at Wembley. I believe England get it done here. I know I'm not really going out on a limb here, given that England are one of the favorites, but I think England bring it home for the first time ever in women's football. They end up with more trophies technically than the men's team, but still doesn't matter. Football's coming home. Late August, football is coming home. England win the 2023 Women's World Cup. That is my official prediction, and that is going to be it for today. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this World Cup preview. Obviously, these games are starting this week, so it should be very interesting nonetheless. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Once again, if you stumble across this video, like, subscribe, tell people about it, and we'll be back here on Wednesday for another edition of Sports Talk Live.